Drew Cavanaugh was up at AAA for the first time this season, and in the second inning, he challenged a pitch call using ABS on the first pitch of an at-bat. So why do I think that this is one of the most notable moments from the game? Well, here's why. Drew Cavanaugh was called up to AAA from Low-A San Jose after Max Stassi was placed on the IL this weekend. Now, this is not nearly as impressive as it sounds. Often, when there's an IL stint that's going to be very quick, the Giants will call someone up from San Jose or Eugene, both single-A levels, to Sacramento rather than fly someone in from Richmond. It's just a convenience thing, and in fact, Cavanaugh played at San Jose last season, but also got 9 games in Sacramento last year as well. So, before the game, in the press box, I was overhearing some discussion from a few scouts about the strike zone. They were bemoaning the loss of the high strike and talking about catchers who over-pitch frame, but they also turned their attention to ABS, and they mentioned that the River Cats were going to really mix Max Stassi because he had something like an 80% success rate in challenging balls and strikes. Notably, for such a stat-driven sport, this is an impossible stat to corroborate because they don't keep track of individual players and their success rates, at least not publicly. But the scouts also began discussing ABS strategy. Now, if you don't know, ABS, or automated balls and strikes, is a way of challenging balls and strike calls. It's kind of like instant replay in a lot of other sports. Basically, this system allows a pitcher, catcher, batter, or manager to ask for a review of a pitch, and then the automated system will say whether or not that was a ball or a strike. It's done by tapping your head after the pitch, and it has to be done immediately. If a team gets a challenge right, they can keep on challenging, but they get a maximum of 2 failed challenges, or else they lose their challenges for the rest of the game. As the scouts talked strategy, the consensus was that these challenges should be saved for high-leverage situations. For instance, the final pitch of an at-bat that might result in a walk or a strikeout, or at-bats where there's runners on base. And absolutely waiting for late-inning situations, where a single change can have a higher impact on the game, and so you don't lose your challenges too early. But here was Drew Cavanaugh challenging a pitch in the second inning. There were 2 outs, no one on base. It was the first pitch of the at-bat. So why do I like this challenge so much? Okay, part of it is breaking the rules. I'm Gen X, I like breaking rules, sue me. But it's also about the intention behind it. Here's what I infer about Cavanaugh's decision-making. River Cats starting pitcher Mason Black had gotten rocked in the first inning. He gave up line drive hits to the first 4 batters en route to falling behind 2-0 after the first inning. But in the second inning, he had gotten a pop fly and a strikeout already and was on his way to a shutdown inning, which he badly needed. Now, any pitching coach or analyst worth his salt is going to tell you that there is a big difference between getting a first pitch strike or a first pitch ball. It sets the tone for the rest of the at-bat, and it would give the pitcher much more leverage if he has that strike. So, if he could give Black a first-pitch strike instead of the ball that was called, then that would change the momentum and keep Black rolling for that shutdown inning. On top of that, this was Cavanaugh's first AAA game, and the ABS system is only used in AAA, the Florida State League, where he doesn't play, and Major League Spring Training, and then again, only some of those games. Again, Cavanaugh did not have experience there. Now, it wasn't Cavanaugh's first ever ABS experience. Like I said, he played 9 games in Sacramento last year, but that's not a lot of experience to go off of, and certainly when that was last season and not this year. So the question is, did it work? And in the moment, the answer is yes. Cavanaugh won his appeal, and the ball was overturned into a strike. Mason Black went on to strike out that batter and have a nice shutdown inning and have a couple of really solid innings after that, although he did give up a solo home run in the third. But in the end, it did not lead to a win. Mason Black still struggled in the 5th inning, and in the end, he was credited with as many runs given up in this game as he had in his previous starts of the season combined. The River Cats lost 7-3. But I'm not really concerned with the loss of the game in relation to this. This overturn of the pitch call is kind of like getting a nice defensive play in a game that otherwise was a loss. You can still admire the play for what it is. But this stands out even more because ABS is so new and so limited to the game right now that we're still trying to figure out what the best strategies are. It's going to be a strategy that is going to be informed by both analytics and instinct, and Cavanaugh's use of both really showed off here. Because let's face it, as much as baseball is a sport of inches, it's also a sport of tiny shifts of momentum. And the tiniest shifts can change the way an at-bat goes, and that could lead to something else. It doesn't always, but it can. And that's the point. Cavanaugh was trying to do the best thing in that moment to try and win. To make an appeal like that in a spot like that is the kind of strategic, confident, savvy, veteran-like move that you don't see out of a lot of young catchers. It's impressive. Now, this season, before going to Sacramento, Cavanaugh was raking in San Jose in his second season there. But at 23 years old, he is a little old for the level. Now, the Giants have a lot of catchers at high A and double A, but I hope the Giants can find a way to make room for him, because he deserves a real, more permanent promotion shot at seeing what he can do. As always, like and follow for more Giants minor league content, and I'll talk to you soon.